Okay, so now we're going to look at the inverse trig functions. So you can see like right here it has the cosine with the little -1 by it. That means inverse cosine. So before we would find the cosine of like 30 degrees. So now we're having the ratio right here. So this would be if I took the adjacent side divided by the hypotenuse. This is what the ratio would be. So if I put this into my calculator right here, that's going to give me the angle. So what angle has that ratio? So again, making sure your calculator is in the right mode. I'm going to go ahead and turn this light on, by the way. So making sure your calculator is in the right mode, you would hit the second cosine and then put that value in. Okay, so for this one, I'm going to round that to nearest degree. So to have a cosine, inverse cosine of 0.87, this would have an angle of about 30 degrees, and I like to use the approximate sign since I rounded. Okay, so this is saying what angle. So what angle has a sine value? So if I take the opposite side divided by the hypotenuse, what angle is going to give me that sine value? So second sine, and then I'm going to put in that 0.85. And that's going to give me about 58 degrees. There was a little bit of glare. And then for this last one, this inverse tangent, what angle has this tangent value? So if I take the opposite side of a triangle divided by the adjacent side, what angle has this specific tangent value? So I'm not going to put this one on the screen, but I'm going to go second tangent, 0.71, divide that, and my calculator is giving me about 35 degrees. Okay, so I have an example down here. So it wants me to find angle F. So I have angle F. Now in accordance with angle F, I need to identify what sides I have. So angle F, I'm going across from it. This side is my opposite. This side is my adjacent. I generally only label the sides I know. So you can see right here I wrote tan F, opposite over adjacent. Since I had opposite over adjacent, I had the O and the A. That's how I knew I was using the tangent. Okay, and you can put angle F here. That's my question mark. If I wanted to put an X, I would use that. Then I went in and I put in my values. Okay, my opposite side right here was the 2.1. My adjacent side was the 5.3. So now I kind of need to figure out what this is. So to get rid of the tan F, you always use inverses. So you use inverses to get rid of it. So I take the inverse tangent of both sides, and so it would kind of go away over there. So I'm going to take the inverse tangent of 2.1 divided by 5.3. So generally I don't round until the end. So I'm going to put it in my calculator that way. So I'm going to go ahead and get rid of that. So I'm going to hit second tangent, and then I'm going to take the 2.1 divided by the 5.3. Move that over there so you can kind of see what's going on. Press enter. 21.6. Again, you normally round angles to the nearest degree or follow the directions if they're separate one. So that's how I got about 22 degrees. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and do another. Okay, now this time you can see they want me to find angle X. So for angle X, put this little box in here. I'm going to angle this, label this side right here. So this is my opposite side. And then here I have my hypotenuse. Okay, so I'm dealing with my opposite and my hypotenuse. So opposite, hypotenuse, I know that's going to be my sine value. It's very important that when you set up your trig function, next to the trig function is always the angle. Well, my angle in this case is the X, and that's going to equal my opposite, which in this case is 3, over my hypotenuse, which is 5. Now again, to get rid of this, I'm going to do inverse sine. So X is going to equal inverse sine. Remember that's inverse sine, not negative sine. Most definitely not negative sin. So then I'm just going to put that in my calculator. So put this over here so maybe you can see it all at once. So I'm going to clear that out. I'm going to hit second, sine, 3 divided by 5. And then you're going to see that gives me about 37 degrees. So x is approximately 37 degrees. Okay. Then we have one more. Here's my x. Across from this is my opposite. Next to it is my adjacent. So I have to ask myself, what do I know? Well, obviously I don't know my hypotenuse. With the hypotenuse gone, you know it has to be tangent, opposite over adjacent. Opposite adjacent is tangent. So tangent x is going to be 7 over 12. So x is going to equal the inverse tangent of 7 divided by 12. So I'm not going to really show you the calculator this time, but I'm doing the inverse tangent. And I'm getting that's about 30 degrees.